I rank where the view is nothing less than phenomenal. For how I express and project from my abdominal. The only view better, both my daddy and my mama know. No living parents, my sons give me balance. My wife is my serenity, this mic is my identity. The world is foul enough, that's why I write without obscenities. Provoking danger with broken language and spoken anguish. Begging to get hurt, why would you ask to go through changes? Yes, Lord, life's a chessboard, master the angles. Control the tempo, be the one who holds the info. Acknowledge is just as deadly as machete swings. When spoken, the truth is as potent as that Medellin. While others swear the style is free, I just let it ring. Our time is undervalued, soldiers make us better kings. My fans on my shoulder, reaching after better things. Today I take the shot, for them I'd rather set the screen.
My mama told me follow my dreams. My daddy told me get it by any means. Stand tall, make him bow to a king. But I've evolved, you can see the resolve. Look in my eyes when you speaking to God.
Life and for those who we caught up in using what I was taught with the muse. I guess they call it proving I'm more than an artist. Penciling out my darkest while stenciling out a harvest. And storing what gets me from A to B, just like garages. Instrumental with collages. Envision what I've been drawing. Broadway to give you rhythm like the great Lena Horne. So bent on, found comfort in the storm. Find peace and on when you see them others perform. Organized chaos, outcasted like hey ya.
Yo, party people in the place to be. What's good? It's number one Chief Rock Knicks Universe, your main man, Uncle Freezy, and welcome to the premiere Knicks in the Nighttime show. It's the Knicks at Night podcast. Salute, salute, salute. Man, listen, man, y'all listen. There's a few things I want to talk to y'all about, chop it up. But before I do that, let me bring up the co-host of Old School Knicks, your main man, Anthony D.
Yeah. Look out your window. Knicks fans is on your block. Y'all know the Knicks run the city. Pull them shades back. Look out your window. Look down there on the block. That's Knicks fans right there. It's about that time. It's about that time of the week where you get ready for your work week with the man that is so smooth he does not require a chaser. Your main man, the real Anthony D. And your
Anthony D in the place to be. What's good, sir?
What's going on? Long time no see.
Long time no see, man. Seems like I've been on vacation for like 12 whole hours. A 12-hour vacation. Hit him up is in the building. Dripmore is in the building. Salute. Sock Passe. Andios is in the building. Salute to everybody watching on X and on YouTube. If you are watching us on X, make sure y'all give your people a follow on X. Allah Wise is in the building. Salute. Yeah, man. So AD, I have a couple of questions I wanted to talk about, or a couple of things I wanted to talk about tonight. One of the things I really want to talk about, right? Yo, Living Truth is in the building. Salute to all the members of the channel, man. Salute to y'all. One of the things I wanted to talk about tonight, run by y'all, is this. What is a realistic expectation for this Knicks team? I mean, in a realistic expectation, man. Not what we want, but what is something that's attainable for this Knicks team? You have anything in mind?
Championship.
That's a realistic expectation.
It's the only expectation.
It's the only expectation.
For me, I don't want to speak for nobody else. It is the only expectation. Everything else is just coulda, woulda, shoulda moments. And I think we're about done with those, are we not?
Everything else is just civilized. Said by Marvin Hagler, right?
Yeah. The late great.
Yeah,
absolutely.
The late great. Just real quick to make you laugh, I just watched the Buster Douglas Lou Severese fight.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. That would be pretty funny. No disrespect to Buster Douglas. I mean, that man did beat Mike Tyson.
Yeah, mind you, that fight lasted all of what, 160 seconds, 150 seconds,
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Give it take a second.
Yeah. Well, championship expectations puts us in a rarefied air. There are probably only 4 or 5 teams in any given season with championship expectations. Some years you'll have a bigger number. Some years you know who the finalists are going to be, but most years you're around that number of about 4, the teams that expect to get to the conference finals. And just by hearing what you said, I'm assuming that conference finals is a layup for this team.
Well, I don't know if it's a layup, but I expect to get to the conference finals.
Yeah.
I expect to get to the conference finals. Absolutely.
Because because if the expectation is championship, then the conference finals is a shoo-in, a layup. You expect you can start the season right there. Right? If your expectation is a championship, then the conference finals is where your season really starts.
I mean, things can go wrong, Freezy. You know what I'm saying? You can have moments where the ground beneath you can be shaken.
Right.
See what I'm saying? Like
right.
94, Indiana.
Right.
We win the first 2 games. It looked like this is a layup.
Yeah.
And then we go back to Indiana and find out this is not a layup.
Yeah. Coming to find out, Indiana is our rival. That's when Indiana became our rival, in my opinion.
Yeah.
In 94.
We'll find out. Game 5 looks like we have everything all in hand. As I'm looking at Jim Brown and Slaughter on my screen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Looks like the game is in hand and everything is okay. John Starks checks out for a couple of seconds.
Yeah.
In the third quarter, and all hell breaks loose.
And yeah.
You know, so we can even go as remember when Phoenix met LA. I think it's the 90, it might be 90, like the same year, and they won the first two games against the Bell 3 and the Lakers.
Yeah.
All hell broke loose in Phoenix.
Yeah.
People forget that they were this close in going home. That Phoenix team that end up, against, Jordan in the finals, they almost went home in the first round.
Yeah, they almost went home.
So things can happen on the way there, on the way to thinking that you're the team. Miami, Knicks, 1 versus 8. See what I'm saying? You can plan. I'm sure Miami did not think much of us that year, particularly because they were the top dog in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, that was a very, very, very sloppy misstep by them. Right, because to be honest, the Knicks probably should have been the number 1 seed that year. But there were a lot of circumstances that led to the Knicks getting off to a slow start. A lot of circumstances.
Right.
And then towards the end of that season, one could say the Knicks were the best team in basketball from about, because when did that season start? Around, you're talking about the lockout season, right?
Yeah.
That season started in around December?
I think so. I believe so.
But one could say in March of 99, so we're talking about December of 98, but about March of 99, one could say the Knicks were the hottest and best team in basketball. It's just they didn't. They had too many losses to prove that they were the best team in basketball.
Right, and they were still. Well, I
They were
wouldn't
still
say.
big
I
time.
wouldn't say that because they were still. They were figuring things out.
Yeah.
Still with a lot of new pieces, so to speak.
The point guard rotation was definitely something that
It was an ongoing struggle.
Yep.
Because remember, at one point, Chris Childs just goes into the office and gives it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was about to lose the starting slot.
Yeah.
But he just goes into the office and gives it up.
Like, yeah, man, because he cared about one thing about Chris Childs is he cared about winning. One thing you can't say about Chris Childs is he didn't love being a Knick. You can't ever say that he didn't love being a Knick. I think being a Knick was destiny for him.
He's not looked upon favorably enough in my eyes.
And yeah.
Because a lot of his moments and stuff, people don't remember.
Yeah.
When he did the throat slash after game 1 in 98.
You remember that? And
it was, and they had banned the throat slam. They had banned the all out, cross the neck, Colombian style, whatever.
Yeah.
He was just walking back to the bench, and he thought no one saw him. A little cute little over, and then he saw it and gave it to him. Smack.
Yeah.
He was in '99. They just kind of changed on the fly in the playoffs.
Right.
There was the whole Sprewell, Houston thing. Sprewell didn't want to come off the bench.
Right.
And things just kind of worked out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just kind of, he would come off the bench, but he would play majority of the minutes. So it didn't really matter.
Yeah. So, but the thing about it is, why are you bringing Sprewell off the bench anyway? Is Sprewell not one of your top 3 players?
Yes, but at the time, Freezy, everything was just kind of rolling back to get back to the game. And he has no familiarity, he being Van Gundy, with Sprewell necessarily.
Right.
Remember, that trade was done when they trade Starks and what's the forward? Chris, oh my God.
Chris Mills
and a couple of picks and whatever. That's like on the eve of the season.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So he still has to kind of figure out that whole Sprewell dynamic. And then you have Ewing, who's not, for the first time in his career, he's not in peak condition.
No,
he's nowhere near it.
No, yeah.
Why? Because he's the president of the Players Union Association at the time, and he's all in negotiations.
Yep.
See what I'm saying? So,
but what I'm asking you is, what small forward or what shooting guard on the bench is better than Latrell Sprewell? None. So why are we even having a conversation? Not you and I. I'm talking about the Knicks back then. Why are they even having a conversation?
Because his natural position is shooting guard.
Right.
And you already have one.
Right.
But somewhere in their minds, they always thought that they could play together.
And they could.
They could, but it was kind of a jamming, so to speak, of jamming the square into the round and eventually make it work, because it didn't look good early.
Well, the thing about that is when the point guard played well, the other two played well. So you remember the Charlotte series?
Yes.
When the point guard played well, the other two played well together. When the point guard was missing, then now you're Allen Houston has a creative shot, and now Sprewell is standing around trying to figure. You know what I mean? When the offense is rolling, like when there is movement in the offense, those guys could play together because because for Sprewell's size, Sprewell was listed at 6'5", 190, right? For his size, he was an excellent slasher and a guy that could find the open space in a defense and finish. He was excellent at that size to be so small, right? To be so small for a guy that did that, not for a guard, because a 6'5" guard is still a nice size guard. But for a guy that played like James Worthy, finding the spots in a zone, in a defense and finishing, you know what I'm saying? Sprewell was relatively little. But the thing about that is when Allen Houston has to create his shots off the dribble because there's no other offense on the floor, now you eliminate Sprewell, right? Because now the guys that are they have to spot up for shots, and Sprewell is not a spot up shooter, right? Or now when Sprewell is creating shots, now you're asking him to find an Allen Houston on the move. And Sprewell is not a facilitator.
He's not a facilitator, but here's another part of the dynamic, right? Sprewell always had the ball in Golden State, right? Yeah. His handle in Golden State was way better than what it was with New York, especially early.
Yeah.
He looked off. Like that time off for the suspension and everything. And I know he said he was working out and, he was never not in condition.
Yeah.
But that part of the skill set really seemed off. And right. Allen was way better with the ball.
Right.
Like Allen could give you whack, and get that 15 easy. While Sprewell was more of he had to connect his feet.
Yeah.
He had to get that odd kind of one dribble, connect his feet, shoot. That wasn't Allen's game. I mean, and this is, from the face up.
Right.
He could post up as well as Allen could, and they would do that. Van Gundy kind of, as Ewing is getting hurt, he kind of now puts both of them, or takes turn with both of them in the post.
Right. In the mid post, in the Jordan post.
Yeah.
In the high post. The Kobe post is what AD is talking about, not the block. He ain't put
Well, even on the block, because remember, Houston is 6'6".
And strong.
Strong. Spree is 6'5", strong and wiry. In that Miami series, they did that to them a lot.
But the drawback to that is, what do you do with your bigs that can't rebound out of space and can't shoot jumpers?
But your big could rebound out of space because your focal big all of a sudden becomes Marcus Camby.
Camby.
And he could rebound off either leg, anywhere. It didn't matter.
And he could run, but Camby.
And he could run.
But Camby, for one reason or another, I'm not for sure why this happened, but Camby was extremely out of shape. And there was a time where you're like, what's going on here?
That very first game, remember when he tried to get subbed out by Van Gundy, and Van Gundy turned his back on him.
Yeah, Van Gundy turned and looked at the popcorn man. Yeah,
Gundy literally was like, "Hey, you gotta get out of here." Yeah. No, no doubt. I understand. I understand what you're saying about that. I think if we had a point guard that had a constant continuity of offense, then those guys probably could have played together way longer than they did. Well,
right?
They start to get it though, Freezy, because remember they changed the style that they had, which was Ewing.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they began to run, or if not run, move at a quicker pace. How about that?
Right.
right? And no one saw that Camby was going to all of a sudden look like one of the 5 best players in the NBA.
Yeah.
Literally, in one playoff run, Marcus Camby was like, here I am.
He went from the bench big to remember, hey, Marcus Camby was being labeled as a guy that wasn't quite living up to his, you know what I'm saying? He was drafted number 2.
He kind of wasn't, because no disrespect to Charles Oakley, Oakley's 11 years his senior.
Yeah.
And you're trading the overall number 2 pick less than 2 years from when you drafted him, or 2 years from when you drafted him, for a power forward whose game is not going to translate into the next 10 years.
Yeah, and Toronto was rebuilding at the same time too.
Yeah, but that just made no sense, Freeze.
Yeah, I know they got draft picks though, bro.
Yeah, but you're matching. What if you're Toronto and you didn't do that, and you kept Stoudemire, Camby, Vince, Tracy over?
Morris Peterson.
But over. We're not even discussing the what ifs. Nobody has that collection of young talent right there like that.
Remember, their point guard was Chauncey Billups. They got Chauncey Billups from Boston. Remember?
Yeah.
Boston drafted Chauncey Billups. They traded him to Toronto. He plays there for either a year and a half, whatever it is that he plays. And the mix is just not a good mix for them. You have the athletes in Camby and Carter, right?
But I'm not doing that. I'm not trading Camby for I don't want to say Oakley wasn't washed, but he wasn't prime Oakley anymore. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I think he was probably I think he was probably washed.
Oh, okay, fine. Then he's washed. I'm not doing that. That's madness.
Yeah. No, I know that.
That was one of the best trades Ernie Grunfeld ever did. And then when he was here.
Yeah, he was washed in not a sense where he wasn't physically able to play, but the game style was one that nobody was really doing. You didn't need 3 human beings in your front court at that point anymore. That was the era of the introduction of the high flying wing players. You know, your Vince Carters and them coming into the league. They're looking for a Vince Carter at that point in the draft. You know, you have your Jason Richardsons of the world, your Corey McGetty types of the world. It's a different.
He's still necessary, but like I said, he's not going to be here, or his style of play is not going to be here in another 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
And he's 30-something years old. And Marcus at that time is 22, 23.
Yeah.
Once he clicked, and I don't know if I've ever heard Marcus talk about what made it click all of a sudden for him. But once it clicked in that Miami series, he was a different guy.
Yeah. When
he gets to Atlanta, forget about it.
You know what made it click in my mind? When there was, I don't know if you remember this play or not, but Camby used to just run the floor and guards would finish. And then I think there was a play where Chris Childs ran the floor and threw him a lob in transition.
Oh my God.
And from then on, Marcus Camby was looking for the lob. He was looking for the lob on any play.
He could have broke his neck.
Yeah, any play he was looking for the lob. And to be honest, him at 6'11", he was probably one of the more athletic guys in the league at 6'11". You know what I'm saying? A 6'11" freak athlete, bro. The league had a lot of freak athletes. Generally, they were 6'9", like your Antonio McDyess type guys, right? You're those type, you know, super athletic, super strong. But 6'11" guy that can play center for you, nah, those wasn't in the league. Nah, them dudes wasn't in the league like that.
Or better yet, because I never saw him as a center.
Early. No, not early, no.
Because what Van Gundy, I don't know if Van Gundy saw this at some point, or it was just, you know, let's just see what we got.
Right.
Him on the off ball, the weak side defender, oh my God.
Yeah, it was injuries. Remember, the injury thing is what necessitated a lot of Camby stuff.
Well, that, and he wasn't fully. He was like New Orleans Noel body size.
Yeah.
Early.
Yeah.
Right? And then it just didn't matter for him anymore.
Right.
He just started using, okay, I'm not the bulky guy, but now you still gonna have to counter my craftiness, my speed, my length,
quickness, agility,
my quickness, my agility.
Yeah.
I remember Alonzo Mourning literally tossed him off of him and turned around and looked at the bench like, get him off of me.
Right. Yeah.
And promptly they did, because he couldn't guard him like that.
Right.
But put him on the weak side and let him come over and help, you're not getting that shot up.
Right. Right.
Because he was just that cat quick. And to that dunk, I remember that dunk, Freezy. Oh my God. Oh. It's a dunk that is really not talked about in Knicks annals, yo. Chris Childs that man could have broke his neck.
Yeah.
He throws it from like a little bit past half court, and Marcus just
goes and get it.
Goes and get it, man. We ain't never seen anything like that for the Knicks.
No, not in Garden.
Oh my God.
That's West Coast basketball right there, bro.
Ooh, what is this? What is this? And then when he posted Dikembe in Atlanta, that one step into the lane, they were done.
They were, yep. They were done. They were done. The NBA was done as soon as the Camby thing clicked, and as soon as NBA defenses realized that Allen Houston could pass off the wing. Now Sprewell can close into those open areas and finish. It was unstoppable. The only defense that stopped that Knicks offense was Jeff Van Gundy. Jeff Van Gundy was the best defender against our offense in the NBA, because when he saw it, he would constantly slow the game down and value possessions. Right. So instead of us taking 85 shots a game, we're out here taking 72 shots a game. But for what?
He believed he still was loyal to Ewing. And he believed that Ewing could get a bucket. And rightfully so, because even at that stage of Ewing's career, Ewing was able to get a bucket. You don't win Game 5 without Ewing.
You don't win Game 5 without
Yes, Miami. You don't win Game 5 without Ewing.
Yeah.
I've said this before. To me, that was the game where he was truly the captain.
I want to throw one other thing out there. You don't win that Game 5 without Sprewell's defense on Jamal Mashburn. That's what I'd like to say to that too. One of the very underrated things is how the Knicks took Jamal Mashburn out of that series.
Well, we talked about this, was it earlier today? I mean, I think Miami took Jamal out of their offense because they played a certain way.
Yeah, Dan Marley, Tim Hardaway.
Yeah, they didn't allow. They played inside out.
Right.
Right, and the first option out is Tim Hardaway.
Yep.
The first option in is Mourning.
Yep.
PJ Brown is not a real option. He's just there to get offensive rebounds and defend.
And free throws, yeah.
And free throws, right? So your Mashburn, you're kind of like waiting for your opportunity, and you're not super aggressive in taking it.
You're right.
See what I'm saying? They didn't allow him, like the Mash doesn't fully blossom, like I said before. It doesn't fully blossom until he gets to Charlotte.
Yeah. Wise is in the building. Salute.
Hello, Wise.
What's going on, fellas? Peace.
What's good? Peace, God.
Everything is real. You already know, AD.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. So we were basically in the midst of a conversation about the Knicks' expectations and what it would take, or what's a reasonable or realistic expectation for this Knicks team, and then we went down memory lane. Of course, we're gonna trot down memory lane, man. I can't help but make that right turn that right turn onto memory lane, bro. Just came
Yeah,
out.
I'm saying here, I already know when AD came on, you was gonna travel down this road.
Yeah.
This is what AD
It
does.
was,
I'm
it was
used to
crazy. It was crazy.
I was gonna take that angle from 90 degrees straight down memory lane.
He mentioned Chris Childs, and I got, Chris was my guy, man. I can't lie to you. I remember that Sunday afternoon.
That overhand Sunday.
Oh, when Tim Hardaway in Miami just drove that man to near destruction.
Yeah.
Because there was nothing else he could do. That man guarded Tim Hardaway as good as you could possibly want to, and that man would come down, pop, pop.
And the thing about it is once Tim Hardaway start hitting that straight on three, that what it is if people remember James Harden ISOing at the top of the key, but they don't remember Tim Hardaway initiated that his first year in Miami. That was Miami's offense, man. When they needed a bucket, they were just going to put Hardaway at the top of the key and spread everybody else out. And he was going to take your best defender and put him on the island, and you had to guard that two-step and in space.
If his jumper was on that night,
it was over, bro.
Your ass was grass.
Yeah, it was over.
Oh, it was just over because he had that real unusual crossover.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? His crossover is the bop, bop, bop. And then he hops with it. And especially early before the knee injury. Oh my God. But that was like him coming back, and he just drove. I just remember he just drove Chris Childs to like I can't do nothing else. I can't do nothing else.
And we forget how strong Tim Hardaway was, bro.
Yeah.
We forget how strong that man was. He was like an NFL running back, bro.
Yo, didn't Tim Hardaway Jr. get traded?
I think he did.
Yeah, he in Detroit. He got traded for Quentin Grimes.
Yo, that's crazy.
That's crazy, right?
That's crazy.
Shout out to Quentin Grimes. I always like Quentin.
Yeah, and shout out to ham sandwiches, bro. I don't do that pork stuff, but y'all welcome to talk about pork if y'all want.
Shout out to Tim Hardaway Jr. too.
Yeah, shout out to Tim Hardaway Jr.
Remember that game he had when he played against Dion Waiters at the All-Star game?
Yeah, the Rising Star Challenge.
Yeah.
He showed something that day.
I thought we were, bro.
He really did, because Dion hits one, talking trash from 3. Tim comes down, hits one a little further.
Yep.
Dion comes back, hits another one from the same distance. Tim was like, "Oh, really? Okay, take this." Yeah. They did it like 4 straight times.
4 straight down the floor.
Against each other, just.
They put on a show.
Yeah, you couldn't tell me that man wasn't the shooting guard of the future, bro.
I'm like, I think he gets a bad rap, Freezy.
I think,
and maybe I'm the Tim Hardaway Jr. Hive president, but I think he gets a bad rap, because what are you supposed to do if management trades you, right? You go to an organization where a coach now sees something in you and he helps to rebuild your game. You come back, you're a free agent. Management now wants you back and they offer you this money. Are you supposed to say, you know what? I don't think I'm going to take that bag. Maybe you should give me $20 million less.
No, that's not the beef with Hardaway Jr. It's the beef with Tim Hardaway Jr. is nothing basketball related. The beef with Tim Hardaway Jr. is when stuff broke down, he would never just say, "I made a mistake." That's the game we lost. Remember the game we there was a game against Milwaukee. We were down. I think we were down 10, and we went on like a 30-point swing, and we were up 20 on Milwaukee. And Milwaukee was one of the rising teams in the NBA, right? And we were supposed to be nobodies. And in that game, Tim Hardaway Jr. was cooking, right? But then Milwaukee was like, you know what? We'll just put Hardaway Jr. on an island and let whoever get Tim Hardaway Jr. just cook him. No big deal, right? No big deal. Because in the NBA, there are scorers that don't play defense. We know that. It's hard being a two-way player in the NBA, right? But at the end of that game, Chris Middleton hits an uncontested layup at the rim, right? Chris Middleton. And all Chris Middleton did was spin off of Hardaway Jr., go to the rim, and hit a layup as time expired and we lost, right? But instead of Hardaway Jr. saying, my bad, I smothered him, I should have made him take a contested fadeaway jumper, he pointed at Enes Kanter and was saying, where were you? Right?
It was Enes' fault.
No, it was not Enes Kanter's fault. Enes Kanter's man had him pulled out towards the 3-point line.
Yeah, and he was too slow to recover.
Yeah, but if he would have left his man and Enes Kanter's man would have hit a 3 right there or hit a jump shot, we'd have still been blaming Enes Kanter. And all Hardaway Jr. had to do, we saw it, we watched it play out in real time. All he had to do was back off of that man and make that man shoot a 20-footer. Instead, he had his elbow on him, and that man just spit off of him and went to the rim for an uncontested layup. And that man took that man took his index finger and pointed at another human being. Now, I don't know. Maybe New York people, maybe New Yorkers feel different about stuff like that when you take your finger and you point at somebody else. I'm from Jersey. I take offense to it. Right? My thing is in that moment, all you had to do was say my bad. It's not like we were going to the playoffs anyway. Right? It's not like that man. There were plays like that all throughout that second run with Hardaway Jr. And you were like, and he was talking like he was a leader of the team. Yeah, we're doing activities at my house. I invited everybody to the crib. We're doing all, and we're like, yo, but on the court, you throwing cats under the bus.
That's what you get when you got a young vet trying to hold a team down.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if you ask me, his situation was kind of like how when Randle, when he came here, said,
I'll speak.
Hold on, because when Porzingis went down,
right,
Tim Hardaway was supposed to be the number 1.
Right.
And he never ran a team. He never had no experience at that. So being that he was the best player on the team, everybody just expected him to step in and roll. And he wasn't ready for it.
Right.
But what you're saying is true.
But he even when Porzingis was here though, Hardaway was supposed to be the leader, the young vet. Because Porzingis might have been the most talented player, but he was not a leader. Right.
He was trying to be though. You don't think so?
Yeah, it's easy.
No, I'm saying Hardaway Jr. was trying to be.
Yeah. Of course he was.
He was trying to be.
Remember when he cracked his ankle or something like that?
No, he kept playing.
He got Liz Frank. Remember the Liz Frank injury? That's the one you
right.
He broke the foot. He broke the bone on top of his foot. And he played through it.
He played through it, and then he came back way too early. Yep. For what? The good of the team.
Bro, we wasn't going nowhere. Porzingis was already out.
Yeah, but that's if he's a young vet, a young leader. Melo's not there anymore. There's no one else that's there. Your big is injury prone.
And the whole New York fan base is saying, what you gonna do?
And your whole fan base is saying, what you gonna do? They gave you $75 million. They overpaid you. And he's feeling the pressure, and he comes back when he shouldn't have. And he was playing well at that time.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he slashed it. He was a better slasher to the basket. His jumper was off though, and you could tell. And and rightfully so. We know why his jumper wasn't going, right? Because he had a Liz Frank injury. He couldn't get off the floor. But he could go to the free throw line, get fouled, and hit his free throws. He could make shots going towards the rim.
Yeah. He's kind of, to Allah's point, he's kind of the Randle pre-Randle. Because everybody's looking at him and like, well, the team is not good. Look at the rest of the team. It's not good. We got my guy from Queens who eventually opts out and goes to Italy, the power forward. What's his name? What's my dude's name? My Queens from Springfield. Kyle O'Quinn. Remember that? Yeah. Kyle played here, I think, was it 1 year or two? And Kyle was like, "Nah, I'm good. Enough of this."
He went to Indiana first.
Yeah.
Right, and then he eventually goes to Italy or something like that.
Yeah. We got him for 1 year. He created time back for 1 year. He was like, "Nah, bro,
I'm good."
Yeah,
that's how bad we were.
Yeah, he just wanted to win, bro. He just wanted to win. That's it. Kyle Quinn just wanted to win, bro. I don't blame him for leaving. He just wanted to be in a winning situation, bro. You lose a lot of guys when you don't go out committed to winning, bro. When you
so if you don't blame Kyle for leaving, do you blame Hardaway Jr. for signing for coming here?
No. Well, AD, I think what you're missing with me is it's not about the basketball stuff. Like even when you said he came back early, I'm not saying the basketball stuff, bro. What I'm saying is you can't be a situational leader, right? You can't just lead from the front when everything is good. You on the sideline talking to the sideline reporter, and then when we lose, you pointing the finger at a guy. Come on, bro. And I just wanted to hold him accountable. You want to hold him accountable in front of 20,000 people and a national audience? You couldn't have told that man. You couldn't have said something to that man in the locker room.
But if we had better management at the time, Freezy, if you have better management that gets better players to put these type of, a Hardaway Jr. in his proper role, you're not going to have this. But what you have a management that they get Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose goes missing for 2-3 days because of whatever.
Yeah, the relationship drama.
Right? You hire that headband guy from LA to coach. He tells you his daughter is sick. He's then seen on the back pages of the Post posing with a housewife. Right? On the back, while they're about to board the plane, he hops in the picture. Right? This man is supposed to be with his sick child. That's the kind of management that you had at the time that was allowing this type of shit to go on. How do you expect Hardaway Jr. to flourish in management?
I understand where you're coming from, man. What I'm saying is that team at that time, though we had vets on that team, right? You had vets on that team. Like, you had the good guys around. I think, was Courtney Lee still here? I think Courtney Lee was still here. Like you had guys that were solid individuals, right? But my thing is, you can't be a part-time lover, right? You got to be pro. You got to, if you say you are a lead, like with Jalen Brunson, right? Like our last two playoff losses ended with Jalen Brunson making a mistake, right? That's how we ended our last two playoff series, right? You know what Jalen Brunson does? Jalen Brunson still talks about how the Miami loss haunts him, right? He's like, that's my bad. I made the mistake in that moment. If that was Tim Hardaway, you know what Tim Hardaway Jr. would have said? It wasn't my fault. And you can't have guys like that when you're building, trying to build something. That's a maturity issue.
But you gotta look at the caliber of player that you asking to run your team at that time too.
Yeah, I understand.
Like he wasn't that guy. That's all that I think me and AD trying to say. He just wasn't that guy. Everything you saying is correct, and he was trying to play the role, but he just couldn't do it.
Yeah, he's not that guy, right? That's what I'm saying. He's so the thing is the thing that got me is, and again, you remember we were a struggling team trying to turn the corner, and Milwaukee was a young team that needed experience, right?
Yep.
And if y'all remember, Tim Hardaway Jr. was cooking the Milwaukee Bucks, cooking them, right? And the Bucks were frustrated, and Porzingis came down and threw it down on Giannis, right? Threw it down on Giannis' head, right? And then the next trip down, Porzingis goes up to do it again, and Giannis fouls Porzingis and tears up that man's knee, right? Yeah, I remember this is the sequence. This is the sequence of things, right? The Knicks are visibly upset, right? But the next time that they play the Bucks, we're thinking like Giannis is going down, right? Giannis, somebody is gonna put that hand bone on Giannis, right? Somebody gonna put that thing to Giannis, right? In the very next game, Tim Hardaway gets the most disgusting dunk ever done on him by Giannis. I think that man's still trying to get that Giannis jock. Hey, you remember that? You remember his job was, if Giannis gets in the air, you knock that man to the ground. Instead, that man goggles on a dunk.
But you want your 6'3" shooting guard to be the tough guy.
No. What I'm saying is in that moment, if that man get up in the air, like whoever it is, bro, we're not just waiting for the heat-seeking missile. We like, yo, if that dude goes to the rim hard, we just gonna foul him hard. Whoever get the opportunity, right? Because you can't just do that to the Knicks and get away with it.
Oh, but everybody did. But everybody did, Freezy.
They ain't want the smoke, Freeze.
But Hardaway Jr. got the smoke, bro. It's still posters going around.
But he ain't won it.
Yeah, he didn't. Yeah.
That might have been the game plan. When he comes down, this is what we gonna do. But when he seen it about to happen, he froze.
Yeah, he made a business decision and got posterized. One of my coworkers sent me in the middle of the daytime. He sent me that picture one time in the middle of the day, right? Because Milwaukee is a business hub, like a lot of banks and businesses in Milwaukee, right? Dude's a Bucks fan, and I'm like, yo, y'all got the ugliest uniform package in the world, right? This is me talking to him in a meeting. After the meeting, he sent me the Hardaway Jr. getting dunked on thing, and I'm like, what can you do after that? And so ultimately,
blame it on Hardaway.
Blame it on Hardaway, right? But my thing, though, ultimately, my thing is not that I dislike Tim Hardaway as a player, right? On a young team with everybody watching, you have to be a consistent leader, and it's why I value Jalen Brunson so much. You have to be a consistent leader, bro. You just can't be a want-to leader.
Yeah, but Freezy, the situations are they're so different, Freezy. You know what I mean? They're so different. Like, you have to look at the guys that he has around him. You know what I mean? Like, who you leading? He's 24 years old.
And it's levels too, because you got to think. Tim Hardaway played with Trey Burke. Trey Burke was player of the year too, just like Brunson was.
Yeah, those two dudes, they played together at Michigan.
Yeah, exactly. But what I'm saying is, it's a whole different caliber when you're talking about Brunson as a leader and Hardaway or Trey Burke. And Trey Burke and Brunson in college was in the same comparison.
Right.
Still totally different players. That's all I'm saying. So when you talk about Brunson being a leader and Hardaway being a young leader, it's not even a comparison.
But they were both in a situation, though.
Yeah,
yes.
And one came up rosy, and one came up shitty.
Right. And one is in Detroit on his fourth team.
Yeah, but he had good moments with Dallas.
Yeah,
he had good moments. He found a home with Dallas for a moment.
Again, it's not the basketball stuff, AD. The basketball stuff is what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
He
but
don't got
maybe
the best IQ. He's real emotional.
maybe in Dallas, you know, he then was able to be the player that he could be for the benefit of the team. The team wasn't asking him to be the leader. You got Luka. You had KP again.
Right.
They had much more other talented ball players, so he could just kind of fit in.
Right.
And do what he does. He had some good years with Dallas. He did.
See, now we're about to see how good he is because when he goes to Detroit, he's playing with a bunch of young players again.
Yeah.
And now he has way more experience.
And he'll probably be a different leader. But I'm not talking about him in Detroit now because it doesn't impact us or what he was in Dallas. What I'm saying is when it comes to that leadership, being the leader of men, you have to be accountable to yourself first. Did I make a mistake and will I admit to it? Right? If the spot gets too hot for me and I feel like I have to throw others under the bus, then leadership is not for me.
Yeah,
right?
Agreed.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Is I pointed out that one instance, but there were numerous instances, right? There were numerous instances of when players on the floor are hot and that man wants to shoot and he hijacks the offense and shoots us out of games. Instead of being a leader, like, yo, such and such is cooking, let him cook.
Okay, but let me ask you this: would you say Michael Jordan, early in his basketball career, was a good leader in the team?
No.
Okay.
No.
Sometimes you got to grow into this. Remember, your heartstring threatened to kill him. Bill Cartwright threatened to kill him in front of the whole team if he ever told the team not to pass him the ball ever again.
Man, I saw Tree Rollins slap Bill Cartwright across the lips, bro. Yeah, I remember Tree Rollins. I saw Tree Rollins. Yo, Tree Rollins might
ain't that Frank Ntilikina?
Yeah, Frank. Yeah, I saw Frank Ntilikina slap.
You know what I mean? So you're gonna make mistakes.
Yeah, but
as the leader, as the leader of the team, you're gonna make mistakes. I saw something recently with Maxwell, Mad Max talking about when he went to Seattle with him and Gary Payton.
Right.
And Gary Payton must have hit, what was my guy? Shamad, whatever, he must have broke Shamad's nose or something like that with an elbow. And Mad Max was like, look, I'm telling you right now, if you touch me, I'm going to kill you.
You know Shamad Williams from North
Carolina? Yes, Shamad Williams, because Max was like, yo, Shamad was my young guy.
Yeah.
That was my young dude. And I was, I'm grooming him, and he busted his shit.
Yeah.
Next play, Gary touches him. They literally had to get the cops to get Max out of there. Max was effing him up, according to Max.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So leadership, sometimes you could go wrong, Freezy. And for a young guy to be in that kind of a role with no other really good players to lead, and Enes Kanter is an easy person because you know what? Enes is never going to play defense. Never did. Never could.
But that wasn't. But you knew what Enes Kanter was, bro. Enes Kanter was a finisher at the rim, high volume rebounder. He was not a rim protector. He's the opposite of Mitchell Robinson.
But he's your big, and he's in the game.
Right. Who else did you have though?
What? Your Kyle Quinns, I can't even remember those.
Those dudes wasn't. Those dudes
absolute. These are the kind of players that Tim Hardaway was a number one, was a first round pick from a top college program who's a legacy. These guys that you got him surrounded with at the time outside of KP is what?
Trash. Hey,
Come on.
yeah. I'm a to make you laugh though, AD. You know who was on that team with Tim Hardaway Jr. and Trey Burke? You know who their power forward was?
I can't remember.
Ralph Sampson Jr.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but the thing about that team though, that I think we should probably keep in context is leadership and stability is a real issue. And the difference between that young team and the young team that Randle inherited is though that young team was talented and probably even more physically talented, the Randle years, the organization was more stable, right? Before even, and I'm talking about even before Leon Rose and them got here, that 1 year that Randle played before Leon Rose and Tom Thibodeau, the organization was somewhat stable, not totally stable, but headed in that direction. Right?
Didn't we have like 3 coaches that year?
Yeah.
What? Freezy? Freezy. Remember this, Freezy. Mills, Perry, Fizdale. That's the leadership. They failed that July, Freezy. The organization is in absolute turmoil because 6 months prior, the owner went on ESPN and literally told the fan base that he was expecting big things this offseason. Not Julius Randle and 4 other power forwards and 6 other shooting guards and 3 other point guards, and none of them besides Randle are on the team today.
And they drafted another forward in the second round. They drafted Iggy Biggs.
Oh my God. Really? They didn't even have a press conference that summer. That's how bad it was.
Yep. But AD, but the thing about it is that summer looks totally different if James Dolan doesn't demand to see Kevin Durant's physicals, the medical stuff.
What, you think the owner's gonna blame himself?
Not only blame himself, because he just went through he
ain't paying himself to do basketball operations.
Yeah.
He could have done that easily by not hiring any of you.
Yeah.
This he is going by your recommendations.
Yeah, I feel you. But in the comparison to this year, though, this team compared to what happened then is the stability factor, right? There are none of these rock the boat moments happening to our organization. And if they do happen, they happen in that moment and they dissolve themselves. They resolve themselves in the moment, right? They don't linger. Even the one thing that Knicks fans are reaching for, the thumbs down thing, we all know it's a stretch for. Listen, man, New York, I love y'all, right? And I legit see people at the store cuss each other out at the store if somebody cut the line, bro. Right? Like legit. I seen it when I go to New York, man. I see people legit on the sidewalk standing up. People walk by and cuss them out because they holding up the sidewalk. Right? But Julius Randle gave a thumbs down, and 3 years later, we still in an emotional headlock because somebody gave a thumbs down. There are a lot of people like, but he gave a thumbs down. And bro, I seen people legit cuss people out over a cab. We talking about a thumbs down. What are we talking about?
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Because if I walk down the block and see AD right now, and I just walk past him and give him a thumbs down, he ain't even gonna say nothing. He's gonna be like,
he won't even remember. You'll have to remind him. AD, you remember that time I gave you a thumbs down?
No. No.
Hell no.
You have to remind that man. You have to show that man proof.
You have to show me proof of that, buddy. No.
AD, like, you was doing that to me. I saw you doing something with your hand, but I ain't know.
You doing something, but
I ain't know what. That's what that was.
Yeah,
But here's the
It's
thing.
not that serious.
It's not that serious. Here's a part of the thing, Freezy. Randall's not the first guy to get booed here in this city.
no.
He's low on the totem pole of the greats that have gotten booed here. They picked it up. They moved on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it was a moment in time. It wasn't a good look for us. It wasn't a good look for him.
I think the Connecticut Knicks are the ones that hate Randall. Like the ones that are outside the city, the ones that don't really feel like the ones that outside of the everyday grind are the ones that have this weird affinity for this. Because Wise knows this, bro. Wise, you been in New York a long time. I ain't gonna tell people how long you've been there. I'm gonna just say the word forever.
Like, yeah, forever.
Right. So that's the word I'm gonna use. Right. Here's the thing. Right. When it comes to cats like Julius Randle, guys like Randle don't offend us in that type of way. What it is every now and then you'll get some beehive of New York fans that want a scapegoat for everything that goes wrong in New York. Right? Everything. Right? The thing is, they will pick out one person, and that one person will be the scapegoat for everything. The Jets miss a field goal is Julius Randle's fault. The Mets miss the playoffs is Julius Randle's fault. Right? The Knicks make the playoffs with the worst roster you ever seen in your life. In 2021, that team was not a playoff team, but they made the playoffs as the fourth team. Right? The Knicks were scorching hot. Julius Randle was on a revenge tour the last 20 games of that season. But what Knicks fans will point to is Julius Randle couldn't lift that terrible team to a playoff victory. And when I name the names on that team, people be like, but so what? They made the playoffs. They made the playoffs on the back of Julius Randle. And when they faced another quality playoff opponent with quality playoff time, we lost to a team that made the Eastern Conference Finals. Right? The team that we lost to in the playoffs made the Eastern Conference Finals. And people were legit like, yo, Randle got to show me some more, man, because that 2021 season, man, he ain't did. And you're like, bro, really? You really bought a Reggie Bullock jersey? You bought an Elfrid Payton jersey. Elfrid Payton's backup was Derrick Rose and Frank Ntilikina. And you out here talking about Randle? What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Right? And then 2 years later, Randle has a bad series against Miami. Right? And Miami winds up going to the NBA Finals. A team that went to the NBA Finals, the Knicks lost to them, and we like, yo, Randle couldn't lift that team to such and such. And that team that beat the Knicks wind up going to the NBA Finals. But that's Randle's fault. And so what you do is you get the Connecticut Knicks fans that come into the city and they need a scapegoat. They don't appreciate the effort of the players. They need legit and no disrespect to everybody from Connecticut, right?
Well, you've already been disrespectful. You've already singled out, and you've singled out an entire state.
Yeah, I
not Camden, not Hartford. You singled out the entire state.
Jersey don't do that, bro. We know, bro. Jersey, we live we know what the struggle is, bro. In Jersey, you gotta earn everything, bro. You don't take nothing for granted. We ain't got, man. Nah, man. What I'm saying is cats come in that feel like they passionate but don't know ball. They passionate but don't know ball and come in and tear Randle posters off a thing, and then they represent otherwise. Right? Hey. They have Brunson jerseys on, tearing down Julius Randle jerseys, and they like, yo, me and Wise, man, we grew up together. No, y'all didn't, bro. Y'all from Nantucket.
But I'd tell you this though, when Randle separated his shoulder, everybody that was seeing him work out before the games, they couldn't wait for him. They was praying with their hands folded, crossed, everything for him to come back and play for the playoffs.
Right.
And then when he didn't come back, it was trade him again.
Yeah.
So that speaks for itself.
That speaks for itself. That speaks for itself. And Living Truth, thank you for the generous contribution. Living Truth says, Ju's the most disrespected, underrated player in the NBA. And I agree. Guys don't get you 22, 10, and 5, right? 22, 10, and 5, make the All-Star game, right? Go legit, ball out against your favorite superstar, and then come back home and we don't like them.
It's only like, I think, 4 dudes in the NBA that's doing that.
Bro, you ain't great, bro. Yeah.
Well, Freezy, this conversation started out with what was realistic expectations.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Is it not realistic expectation for Julius Randle to be healthy and to finally lift the Knicks to the finals, if not win it?
I think it's very realistic because, first of all, for the most part of his career, he's been an Iron Man. So for him to come back, if his shoulder is good, he should already have his legs under him because he's been running before he had surgery.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't think he should start off slow. As long as his shoulder is good, I think he'll be good to go. If anything, his shoulder might be better.
Right. Right.
I think when we start this season, my expectation is that Brunson and Randle pick up right where they left off. And I think that it's going to be way more space on the floor now because with the addition of Bridges and having a healthy OG out there, I mean, if you could double team Randle if you want. You could blitz Brunson if you want. So, and don't let Devo get in the game. Like, I feel like we should be running the scores up on these dudes and locking them down at the same time. So, I feel like AD, to his point, I feel like the championship is the goal. You don't give up 5 first rounders and don't think you're going to the chip.
Right. Yeah. So, but the thing is what I guess what I'm asking is there a difference between the goal and the expectation? Like I think that should be the goal, but is that what we expect?
I think they're simultaneous to me.
So AD says they're simultaneous.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's the same. Because I mean, the goal is what you put is what you forming in your mind. It's the same as an expectation, but you just got to carry it out.
So I disagree slightly. My expectation is for the Knicks to be dominant every night on a day-by-day basis. And then once you take that march down that road, when you revisit the result, then I think that might be what the result is, right? My expectation is that the Knicks are going to be the most highly competitive team all 82 games of the season. That's my expectation.
Yeah, now, that's reasonable. We already that, I think.
Yeah, and so I think the goal is separate in that you don't look at the championship and work backwards. I think you have the championship off in the distance, but you prove every night that you deserve to be the NBA champ. That's my thinking of it. Like this journey starts October 6th in preseason, right? I don't think you skip October 6th and look towards June and the champagne stuff, right? Now, mind you, I'm on record saying my only concern is the type of champagne that James Dolan buys in June. That's my only concern, right? The only thing that worries me is that James Dolan will buy some nasty champagne for the celebration. I'm not concerned about the backup center. I'm not concerned about the point guard situation. I'm not concerned about having too much talent. Will too much talent disrupt chemistry? I'm not concerned over any of that stuff, right? What I'm concerned about is James Dolan buying cheap cigars when it's time to celebrate. Right?
That man has never not spent his money.
Right.
He cannot be accused of being cheap. That man just built that Sphere out in Vegas right now. That's the hottest thing out there.
Yeah.
That man can never be accused of being cheap.
So that is my concern. So basically what you're telling me is I don't have a legitimate concern.
No, you don't.
Nope.
Exactly.
No, you don't.
That's what I'm saying. So the concern that I made up is not a valid one. And so I'm telling you guys on the record that I don't have a concern about the roster or anything else that Knicks fans have a concern about, right? My expectation is that the Knicks are going to be a championship level competitor every night for all 82 games of the regular season and all 24 games or so of the postseason. However many. If we do it in 24, cool. If we do it in less, cool. I don't have a concern. I think we're going to be the most competitive team in the NBA from minute one of the preseason through the point where Adam Silver grits his teeth and rolls his eyes as he gives the NBA trophy to James Dolan. Right? Do I think I know Adam Silver don't want to give him the trophy?
Nope.
Right? No, he don't want to give it to him. Right? But he won't have a choice in June.
Nope.
If we go to the championship, Donahue is going to be the ref. Guaranteed. They're going to reinstate him for that.
Yeah. Every time you walk by, whoever make the finals, let's say it's Dallas, since they made it last year. Every time you walk by Luka, Tim Donaghy gonna be blowing a whistle. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, but that's my concern, AD. I think instead of, and I'm not saying that your perspective is wrong, because listen, I respect that perspective. I'm just on a different side of it, right? Like I remember back to '96 where we felt like we were the best team in the NBA. I remember the 91-92 year when the Bulls were the first time NBA champs, and we felt like they beat the Lakers. And this is my mindset, right? They beat the Lakers? Man, we'll wash the Lakers. This is what I'm thinking about in the fall of 1991 after the Bulls won the championship. I can't wait for the season to start because I know this Knicks team could beat the Lakers. The Lakers are old. I can't wait to get the Knicks on the floor to play the Lakers. Now, at the same time, we didn't know how good Seattle was going to be. We didn't know how good Phoenix was going to be. We knew Portland was making noise. We didn't know how good they were. And come to find out, the league didn't want us to win. And AD was there for that. He remembered that.
Mm-hmm.
You remember all the bad calls that went against us in the playoffs in '92. I don't have to rehash any of that stuff. Everybody remember that. Yep. Right? Everybody remember the 91-92 season where we should have been the NBA champs, but all the calls go against the Knicks. All of them.
Yeah. That's what you see, Freezy. You have to take it, Freezy.
I know.
In order for you to be respected, at some point in time, you have to take it. You know, Detroit had to take it.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Detroit in 04 they had to take it.
Yeah.
In 88, 89 they had to take it.
Right.
You know, you can't expect that the league is just gonna. You think the league really wanted Denver to win the championship? Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, Joker has not done anything to build the league. He's the best player in the game, right? And they're like, oh my God, this is Tim Duncan all over again.
Right.
This is Kareem all over again. Can we get him in a commercial?
Right.
Can we get him talking to some kids somewhere? Can we get him talking to some kids somewhere, even in his own native tongue? Can we get him talking to some kids somewhere? No, it's not doing it.
Right. Right.
So
no doubt.
We say, well, they don't want to give it to the Knicks, but why wouldn't you?
Hey, me and Freeze had a whole conversation about this the other day. It's a lot of reasons why they wouldn't give it to the Knicks, but I don't even want to get into it right now.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, they're still your highest ranked team as far as value.
Right.
That's one of the reasons why they don't want to give us the chip, because we're going to be that regardless. So why we need the chip?
Why? Right.
You see what I'm saying, AD?
But you're gonna have a first of all, you're gonna have a city that has been starving for it so long. We're gonna show you what it is to celebrate a champion.
Yep.
Right.
That's
remember when the Yankees won with Derek Jeter? Oh dear God. Right? That was it. Like, step aside, let me show you how this is gonna get done.
Right.
It's the same reason, and I used to say this, and fans don't kill me, why I used to like LeBron. That last move, you really missed it. You really missed it, because that championship in LA is not special amongst the LA championships. And nobody gonna care about that. You ain't getting no statue out here.
No.
Here?
No.
You couldn't even talk that Jordan mess anymore. You're like, what? Nah. Nah. Right. You're better than our guy.
Right.
Hey, Freeze, how would you feel, right, if you had LeBron on your team and now you got to give minutes up because you got Bronny on the team too?
Are we winning the championship?
Hell no.
Well, no, I don't like it.
So how you think the rest of the Lakers feel? Because they know they ain't winning the chip.
Yeah.
They know they ain't winning the chip.
Well, the thing about like the cats like LeBron James, and others that are in that top 10 of all time conversation, you gotta do what those players say do, bro. Right? Like AD. Here's the example. What if the Pistons didn't listen to Isaiah Thomas about Adrian Dantley?
They probably would not have won a championship. They
would not have won a championship, bro.
But LeBron is like 41 years old, and they're not going to win a championship.
No. What I'm saying is this though. When it comes to like the top 10 players of all time, you got to do what they say, bro. Like for instance, the Bulls were ready to blow that team up. They shouldn't have won 6 chips. The front office was ready to rebuild that team after they beat the Sonics. Right? They were like, yo, we got to make a move here. This team is aging fast. There are no more John Sallys and Robert Parishes out here for us to pluck off championship teams because we are the championship team. Right? There are no more Pistons dynasties, these crumbling, and you can pick up guys from the crumbling Pistons dynasty, the crumbling Celtics dynasty, the crumbling Lakers dynasty. There are no more guys. Right, we've been the champ for so long that we've plucked the vine dry. We have to rebuild this thing. We have to bring in a new Scottie Pippen. We have to try to find, and we won't find one, but we have to at least try to find another Michael Jordan. Mike is 36, right? But Mike and Scottie was telling them, yo, run it back. We have at least one more chip.
And they did.
And they ran it back, and they were like, yo, at the repeat, they were like, yo, you know what? We could do this again. And the organization was, okay, we'll do this one more time. and that's it. We have to rebuild this thing, right? And so they went on their last dance. They won their championship. The organization prematurely. Remember, Michael Jordan didn't retire after that championship. Mike didn't retire until AD. When did Mike retire? January?
Something like that.
Yeah, the season was ongoing, and Scotty was gone, and all the stuff, and so you
They
knew.
hired Floyd.
Yeah, but that was the lockout season too, by the way, right? Wasn't it the 98, 99 season?
I think they hired Floyd before that.
Okay. Yeah, because Phil
you said me correctly. They hired Floyd before that, and at some point Cartwright becomes coach.
Oh God.
Interim. But they did a lot of strange things.
They did a lot of strange things.
Because the owner wouldn't say it, but they wanted their team back.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, he wouldn't say it, but his underboss was his man.
His mouthpiece.
Yeah. Period. End of story. Scotty wanted more money.
He deserved it. Yep.
They refused to negotiate.
Yep.
To renegotiate.
Yep.
So as soon as he became a free agent, he was out.
Yeah.
You know, you probably could have kept Mike if you had brought in another piece.
You probably could have kept Mike if they stopped trading first round picks for random veteran guys. Right? But you needed those John Sallies, bro.
Yeah, but he was still so good.
Yeah.
He was still so good.
And
I'm thinking you bring in another piece from what Scotty was, or you elevate Kukoc to that, and you bring in you bolster the roster, and let's move on.
They traded Kukoc too, though. They traded Kukoc.
Yeah, but they didn't care. They let all that go.
Yeah.
I think Kukoc signed with Philly.
With Philadelphia, yeah.
Right. They let all of that go for you. I mean, they did draft some nice pieces, but they were just so mismatched.
Yeah, they drafted Jason Williams, Jay Williams out of Duke. They drafted Marcus Fizer, the 6'7" power forward out of, I think it's Iowa State. Eddie Curry, Tyson Chandler, Ron Artest, Elton Brand, I think they drafted.
If Jay Williams would have stayed healthy, they had a good team.
They'd have had a good team, but they wasn't guaranteed to win a championship though.
When they drafted Brand, for some particular reason, they didn't like Brand, and I'm like, Brand easily won the Rookie of the Year. What are you talking about?
Easily.
Brand is like a better Big Dog Robinson.
Right. The classic. He was like the classic power forward. 20 and 10 guy, easy off the rip. He's just gonna be that guy.
Yeah, and then for some particular reason, they didn't really like him because then they trade him, like draft day trade for Eddie. They somehow then they get Eddie Curry and
they traded him for Tyson Chandler.
And Tyson Chandler, right?
Yeah, because they drafted Eddie Curry and traded for Tyson Chandler, and Elton Brand, which was crazy. But you couldn't at the time though. I don't think they could envision seeing Eddie Curry and Elton Brand in the post.
The love affair for Eddie Curry just made no sense to me.
I don't get it.
It didn't make no sense to me with them. It didn't make no sense to me with us, especially with us.
He did win a chip with Miami though.
Yeah, he did win the chip.
He won a chip in Miami, bro. He won a chip.
He looked good. He looked good in that suit. He looked good in that suit on the bench.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Eddie Curry. I mean, it's not like Eddie wasn't talented. It's not like he wasn't. It's not like he wasn't physically gifted.
Let me ask you this, AD. What's your expectation for OG this season?
Ooh, I'm gonna get something to drink. I'll be right back.
I want him to play at least between 67 and 70 regular season games. That's my expectations for him. on the health side and being available. I think if we can solidify that end of it, where our wings are healthy going into the playoffs, we're a problem. If
So
we're
how
in a
much? So how much minutes would you say a game would you put on him?
I would level him. I really would. 30 max. 30 max. And that might not even be a consistent 30. I would good because as much as we like him, we gotta admit he was brittle with Toronto. So I think that's where you still can count on Josh Hart in his minutes. Because I don't want to play him. I don't want to give him that 35. No, I don't want to do that to him. I don't want to do that to him before the playoffs. No.
Okay.
Because I'm thinking that, say if Randle and Brunson stay at 34, right? They're gonna probably be getting the most minutes anyway. So OG will probably fall right where you think, probably like around 30. That should be about right.
Yeah, or even less.
And maybe even less, depending
Less.
on how Tibbs. But see, if they play smaller, because I think they might say if they run small ball for 4 minutes a half, so that's 8 minutes. OG on the floor right there, plus his starters minutes. So his minutes might end up being a little higher this year.
I would hope not. Because as an organization, the first thing I'd have did with him, especially after we signed him and physical and all that, whatever, which they should have been doing anyway, whatever, so we got to take a look at what was going on with your routine when you were in Toronto. Why are you so injury prone? And what can we do? What can you do differently? So we can get you to that 66, 67 to 70 games in the regular season.
You buy a fan or something? You hear that? Somebody got a little buzz. Okay. So, AD might be buying a fan or something like that.
Yeah. I think what he's saying is true, but at the same time, OG took that 212 smooth. So he gonna have to work it out, because with us losing Hartenstein, we're gonna need some help at the 5 position, one way or another. If Randle gotta play the 5, that means OG probably gonna slide up. So, or vice versa. They might, switch on offense, defense, however they do it. But he's gonna have to play up some. And we're gonna need probably a little extra minutes from him.
Well, I envision him getting another front court piece, because when you start, OG's a very good defender, a great defender, right? But when you start asking him to play against centers on a regular basis, that's counterproductive. It's going to do exactly what we don't want to do, which is to beat him up.
Right.
See what I'm saying? Because, yeah, he looks like a physical freak, but that's a physical freak at the 3.
Okay.
And at the 4 sometimes. You start talking about 4 and 5. Okay, now we're going to see what's going to happen to wear and the tear.
Okay.
A moment here or there, sure.
Well, before you give a person a contract, though, you will probably figure out the way you want to play with them and speak about it before you give it to them, right?
Yeah.
So that's why another thing, like OG know he gonna have to be ready, because he getting the most money on the team, even if Knicks fans that got any sense is not gonna expect him to do out of this world things. With that contract, he's gonna be looked at different. So he gonna have to play up one way or another. It might not be minutes, but his health is gonna have to be definitely in pocket this year. for us to go deep in the playoffs.
If he's feeling the pressure of having to live up to the contract, then we in a world of problems.
Nah, I don't think he's gonna feel the pressure. I just think that he know what comes with it. He got to, knowing what comes with it, he's gonna have to just step up.
I think that I hear what y'all are saying. I think the key to this for Tom Thibodeau is eliminating high leverage minutes, right? Because like I have the minutes distribution on the screen, right? But all minutes are not equal, right? Like say a dogfight from tip off all the way through double overtime has a different impact on your body than you get to the Wizards and at tip off you get a 23-point lead and you cruising the rest of the way. You feel me? But like all the minutes are gonna be different in that sense. I think it's incumbent upon Tom Thibodeau to come out and be highly competitive from the start of every game, put these games away and get these veterans off their feet. Right? That's what I think we should do. Right? Or if a team, say for instance, the worst team in the league jumps out on us and is up 28 and 28 at halftime on us. Say the Wizards are up 28 on us on halftime, right? Do we say, okay, we don't have it tonight and take Randle and OG off their feet? Or do we try to overcome a 28-point lead in order to win? Right? Those are the type things I think the decisions, like, because if we're talking minute for minute, I don't know if we can solve it because every game is going to be its own universe.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so if it's one of those things like game 1 of the regular season, us at Boston, ring ceremony, right? We take Boston to overtime. Y'all know that game going to overtime for one. We already know that game's going to overtime because we can beat Boston, but they ain't gonna let Boston win, bro. We're gonna have to take it. It might be in overtime. Right? Just like last year's team, like last year in opening night, right? We should have won that game last year. Y'all remember that Boston game?
Yep.
Right? Where we clamped them up, they couldn't hit a shot, and they got some calls to go their way. They escaped. They wound up being the champs. Okay, what do you do? Right? What do you do?
Porzingis gave it to Robinson.
They had their path. We had ours. Their path ended with a championship. Our path ended with question marks. So what? It's over with. It's done with. There's nothing we can do about it, right? It's history, and we can't rewrite it. And there's no need in rethinking it because the outcome is not going to change, right? But Tom Thibodeau should be focused on being competitive, right? High leverage minutes, and when things are not high leverage, man, I need to see Jericho Sims and Josh Hart.
See, I'm looking at the minutes distribution you got up there, and I see you don't got Sims getting no minutes, but you got Achua getting 24.
Yeah.
That I think that might be different. I think that Achua might be the guy on the outside looking in, depending on what Sims did this summer.
Right. But now, mind you, if that's the case, you're talking about a 10-man rotation, and you're talking about no small ball.
No, I'm saying Sims on the outside. I mean, Achua on the outside looking in, and when they run small ball, they go Brunson, Bridges, Devo, OG, Randle.
Okay, so you're okay. So if Achua gets 0 minutes, then we paid Precious Achua $6 million to not play, basically. And when we could have legit saved that money and just signed a center in free agency.
I'm just saying, maybe.
I'm saying now. I'm not saying what's right or wrong. I'm we figured it out.
Yeah, maybe. I think so.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
No way. I'm not a believer in Sims. He's gonna have to make me a believer.
Yeah.
I'm not a real believer neither, but I'm just saying, like, when you realize that we didn't get no bigs to back up Hartenstein, and you trust Achua,
Yeah.
Well, I don't. I already said I expect them to get another piece in the front court. But that being said, Achua, he played some good minutes last year for the Knicks, man.
Yeah.
at
He
the
averaged-
four, really,
he
at the
averaged-
four, better though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, Freeze.
He averaged 39 minutes a night in February.
Yeah,
Yeah. Extremely athletic.
Yeah.
Arms very long, strong.
Yep.
You know, he gave the Knicks a lot. I remember when they made the trade in those first like couple of games, it was like, God, this guy is. But all of a sudden, it was like he just got comfortable and was like, look, I'm just gonna just play as hard as I can.
we know that Tibbs trusts Precious more than Sims though.
Yeah. And he from the Bronx, bro.
Yeah,
They put Sims' skill set, right? Just his pure athletic ability should have been something the Knicks could have relied on against Indiana. And they couldn't. They put that man in. Tibbs took him out in 30 seconds. Said, no, get him out.
Get him out of here. Yeah.
Get him out. You don't know what
but
he's doing.
look, that's the same thing that happened to Deuce against Miami the year before too.
Yep.
Yeah, but they played Deuce more. They played Deuce more. See what I'm saying? He trusted Deuce a little bit more than he did with Sims.
But you got to think, AD, when Mitch went down, who was the starter?
Sims.
Exactly.
When Mitch went down last year, it was what's in it? It was
It was Sims.
Nah, they tried Sims first. Remember, they tried Sims first, and it didn't work, and they put Hartenstein in there. They tried to keep continuity. Remember, Tibbs' thing was to try to keep continuity.
right.
Hartenstein staying in that role, and Sims would get 2 fouls in the first 2 minutes, and Hartenstein would be in the game anyway. So you like, why not just start him?
Yep.
All I'm saying with Sims is he's way too athletically gifted to now be going into his 4th year, and we're still wondering, can he play any role as a backup?
Yeah,
I agree.
Going into your 4th year?
I agree with you.
and you was in college for 4 years.
Yep.
Yeah,
God. Like, we needed that. His skill set is exactly what we needed against Indiana. And we couldn't depend on him. It was like, nah, he ain't ready.
yeah. Are you guys thinking that? So I'm thinking this thing. I don't know. I think it might be a passing thought, but I think the Knicks might be better off without Hartenstein.
That's to be seen. I think it's a different team. You know, you got Mikal, so it's a different team.
I think for that reason you just mentioned is the reason. I think that the legit reason is, do you sign another limited big man, or do you re-sign OG Anunoby and trade for Mikal Bridges?
Yep.
You do the latter.
You do the latter. Exactly.
Yeah.
And
Now-
I agree with you, Freeze, with that specific point that we should be better without Hartenstein. Actually.
And not that he's a bad player now. Mind you, I'm not saying he's a bad player. I'm talking about
I'm not saying that.
The roster building. No, I know you're not. I know you're not.
I'm looking at it from the way that how you said it, like with Mikal there and with Randle coming back too. Because Hartenstein had a lot of time on the floor without Randle and with no Bridges there. Like he was a main fixture in a pick and roll with Brunson.
Yeah.
And realistically, if in my opinion, he didn't capitalize the way he should have, but he capitalized enough in high leverage games where OKC was like they made that decision. But
Yeah.
I still think I still think Hartenstein is a backup if Mitch is healthy anyway. So
Yeah. And
I like a big that can pass.
no, you don't. Hey,
Yeah,
you don't do that. Hey,
I like a big that can pass. I'm sorry. I like it in today's game. You got to be able to see the court. You just can't just be a screen setter. I like a big that can pass.
but when you got 4 dudes on the floor around you that can all make plays, dribble, pass, and shoot, you don't really need a big that could do that. You need him to hit the boards and kick out the open shooters. And Mitch could do that.
Yeah, but here's the thing with that, and you're correct to a certain point, right? Offensively, you keep the flow of the game. Offensively, you keep the flow of the game because if I got a big that can pass, that means I got a big that's also is looking at the rim. See what I'm saying? Way too many times with Mitch, it's like he doesn't look at the rim. Even if he misses the shot,
right.
That's fine.
I feel you there too, AD.
But you got to look at the rim. You have to have a certain kind of basketball awareness to me that you see what I'm saying? That you're not going to be like you playing 5-on-4.
But look at it from this perspective, right? Why you think that when Mitch went down, he put Sims there? It was to keep the continuity, but he also know that when you got your starters in there, you don't need your big to do all of that.
Yeah.
When you with your bench and you got Deuce that was kind of suspect at the handle, you need Ahart to help him out. So that's why you would put him there. But realistically, with our starting 5, you know what I'm saying, in our bench, how it is now, it's way more space without Hartenstein, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Okay. To be seen.
Yeah.
When you got Randle and Bridges on the floor at the same time, like last year in the playoffs, that would have just been Hartenstein. Now you take Hartenstein out, put Randle back, and then add Bridges.
Yeah.
Yeah, but those are different players. You see what I'm saying? Hartenstein is playing the role of the setup. But Randle's not playing the role of necessarily of the setup. See what I'm saying? You're not gonna put him in the spaces where Hartenstein was. No. You're not gonna ask Randle with a bad shoulder to come out here and start setting screens and
you would dump it down to Randle. If Randle was healthy, you dump it to him in the paint because you want to get a paint touch anyway. So you let him set up in the paint, get it to him early though, not like a real. I mean, it's a post up, but you push it down the floor, get it to him early in the paint, where shooters are still scrambling to their spots, and now he's the setup man. If they don't collapse, he just attack 1-on-1.
I like that.
But he's still the setup man.
I like that. I've always wanted to see Randle play more in the post. Randle's not a post guy like that.
He been playing like that last year though.
He's a face-up guy that took it to the hole.
Yeah,
but the raw post, hook, fade, drop step, fade, that's not Randle's game.
Well, he's not that because you have centers that occupy the same area. Right, and also I think Randle is whatever you need Randle to be. Right? Like, for instance, every year Julius Randle comes into the season as a different version of the player that you saw the year before.
Facts.
Right? Randle is there. You remember baseline Randle? Remember we used to get the ball to Randle on the baseline Randle. Yep. Nobody could guard him. And then the very next year, he was pinch post Randle. And then
he was first quarter 3-point Randle.
Then he was yep. And then and then there was a point forward Randle. Remember Randle used to get the ball out after a made basket, Randle bringing the ball up the floor? Then it was that Randle. right? And then there was Bully Randle against all the Randle Revenge Tour. Randle took every superstar power forward in the post. Anthony Davis, Giannis, Zion, it didn't matter. On the Randle Revenge Tour, I think during the Randle Revenge Tour, Randle was averaging like 33 and 14 on that 13, 14 game stretch. Right, that stretch they got the Knicks to the playoffs. Randle was averaging like 33 and 14 and like 8 assists or some crazy number that got him onto the All-NBA ballot, because Randle wasn't putting up he was an all-star, but he wasn't All-NBA until the Randle Revenge Tour, where that man was averaging like 8 assists a game. And you were like, man, this dude putting up Jokic type numbers. Right? I think the version of Randle that we see this year is a bigger version of OG Anunoby offensively, is what you're going to see from Randle. Right? I don't think you're going to see Randle in the post. I don't think you're going to see Randle facing up from 12 feet. I think you're going to see Randle catching that ball with momentum, because the spacing is going to provide that. You're going to see Randle catching the ball on the run, going to the rim and finishing. Right? And then, because if the defense collapses, if one or two people leave their man to stop the drive to the paint, now you're leaving Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby open for three on the perimeter. And that's why it's dangerous. Right? You can't leave Jalen Brunson open for three. Because when we were taking advantage of Jalen Brunson spotting up for three, Jalen Brunson was shooting 47.4%, either 47.4 or 47.9, some ridiculous number from three, when you left Jalen Brunson open for a wide open three, or for a spot up three. I'm sorry, not wide open, but for a spot up three.
And most of them was assisted by Randle.
Yeah. Somehow we getting the ball to Brunson and Dante. I'm sorry, Brunson and Grimes. At the time, Brunson was shooting 47%. Quentin Grimes was the other starter.
And that leads to why Randle is, when he gets the ball in the paint, he's not just like turning over the shoulder and attacking, because the object is to draw the double team. Most teams, when they double Brunson, it's on the perimeter, so they could blitz him and get back. But when Randle gets the ball in the paint, when you collapse, it's hard to get back out on the perimeter when you don't know you got multiple shooters that's wide open. So his main objective is to first find a shooter out of the double. He know it's coming when he get the ball that early. So instead of just trying to turn over and attack, when he see the double, he find the shooter. If the double don't come, then he attack. So he got to look at the basket.
Yeah, I think the one detriment to it, AD, is what is Mitchell Robinson going to do? Because if Mitch's man is a guy doubling, I think we might be in trouble. Because now you're asking Mitchell Robinson to catch the ball in traffic and finish at the rim.
But that's to what I'm saying.
You got to throw it up to him.
You have to have Mitch. That's just not Mitch's game. Is not, let me make the decision. Mitch's game is, you have to lead Mitch to the basket, or he has to, impact the offensive glass the way he can do. You see what I'm saying? If he's not doing that, then he's offensively useless.
Yeah, I don't buy into it.
And if you're doubling, which teams are going to do, double off his man, if they somehow lost the Mitch role. Two plus years ago, they somehow lost his effectiveness. I don't know if it's the weight, the extra weight, the bulk, but he was far more aggressive at that role in catching and finishing.
Brunson don't throw him the ball, AD.
Well, they're gonna have to utilize it a bit more.
Yeah,
they're gonna utilize it just a bit more, just to keep the defense honest.
Yep.
Just a bit more, and not just with Brunson, per se, but
everybody.
He's gonna be their main screener. He's their main screener.
the more I hear the Mitch conversation, man, the more I'm thinking, man, we need to pull the ripcord on this and just go get us a big. That can face the floor. just pull the ripcord, bro. I like Mitch, bro, as a person and all of that stuff, man. I think Mitch is cool beans. But just the mere fact that we had to mention all this stuff just for him to be involved.
But it's time for him to put it together, Freezy.
Nah, bro.
You see the 30 minutes is past time. Correct. You see the 30 minutes, and I'm like, I don't want to really give to OG.
Yeah.
I'm more than expecting that from Mitch. It's past time.
It's past time for
You're going into your 7th season.
Yeah. And you shot
Mitch
40%.
gotta stand up.
Yeah, he got.
That's just facts. You're going into your 7th season. It's time for you to finally be a consistent, healthy force. Injuries are going to happen, so we can't, we don't know if that's we can't blame a man for getting injured. But when you're there, it's time for you to be a consistent force.
And it's past time for Jericho Sims also.
Yeah. That's where they lost the Indiana series. They didn't have enough bigs to go up against mediocre bigs. Outside of Miles Turner, who was Indiana's bigs that you really are like? And Pascal Siakam. So excuse me.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about their bigs off the bench. Obi Toppin was doing work. Yeah. Obi Toppin was doing work.
Yeah. That's a shame, bro.
Yeah.
That's a shame. And the reason why I think it's past time for Mitch and Jericho Sims is the teams that we beat up internally, they went out and added other big men. Indiana added James Wiseman. The teams added quality big men. The Knicks.
I wanted Wiseman, yo. I really wanted the Knicks to take a chance on Wiseman.
Todd Bobby said if we got James Wiseman at the Tibbs postgraduate school, he would have made James Wiseman better than Isaiah Hartenstein.
Yes. I believe that Wiseman is a talent that is worth unlocking.
Yeah.
That is worth a real good off season and continuance of, for lack of better words, love and affection, and we believe in you.
Yeah.
Like you're not injured. You're uber talented.
He's just low IQ. He don't know what to do out there. That's his thing. And I'm not saying and when I say low IQ, everybody, I'm not saying he's not smart. What I'm saying is he just doesn't understand the game at a high enough level yet. Right. And what it is if he gets a teacher, like the same teacher that taught Nerlens Noel, right? The same teacher that taught what's the dude with the SpongeBob hands? Remember the dude that played center for us with SpongeBob hands? His fingers was all pointing in the wrong direction.
Norvell Pell.
Oh my God. Bro.
No, but he's. I looked at him this off season. I looked at a lot of his film and stuff. He's a lot better. He is. I don't think it's an IQ thing with him. I think that it was more so of a team not believing in him, not really giving him a true shot.
Yeah. AD, he's not a good decision maker, bro.
Yeah, but I don't want him to be a point center. See what I'm saying? I want you to be able to get him the ball and let him face up and let him do the things that he really can do. Like on the block, when this dude turns and faces on the block, what? He is difficult to deal with. At 7'3", he is very difficult to deal with.
Okay.
So I thought they would have at least looked at that. I was really shocked. I'm like, yo, you could have used him.
Yeah. Yeah, he's in Indiana now, bro. He, it's one of them things where the Knicks value Mitchell Robinson, and I don't fault them for valuing Mitch. Right? I don't fault them for valuing Mitch because I think what they're going to do is be on offense be 95% non-center, and then on defense be about 80% non-center, right? And then so in those moments when that 5% on offense from your center, they're like, we can overcome that. And on defense, they're like, our defense depends on point of attack defense and wing players, right? So the center is there as the free safety, so to speak, right? And I know y'all don't understand what a free safety is because y'all like New York football, so y'all don't understand what a free safety is. But I'm talking about in terms of the last line of defense. For those that know football, like Bears fans, y'all know what I'm saying.
Oh boy,
right?
Oh
so
boy.
My thing is do you invest?
Fans know losing football.
Yeah, I know, man. But as a last line of defense, do you not spend the money on Precious? Save that $6 million plus the $5.5 million that you have left. Take that $11.5 million that's available and bring in a backup center to Mitchell Robinson when you're not really going to use them. And then if OG Anunoby gets hurt, you can't make a trade for a wing player because now that wing player savings fund that you had, so to speak, is gone to Valanciunas. And now you're looking at, and now Knicks fans are saying, can we play Mitch and Valanciunas together? Hell no.
Yeah, but they to be fair to management, they weren't thinking the backup center before the wings. You see what I'm saying? They weren't thinking no, and they shouldn't have.
AD, you know what I think they were thinking? Can I tell you what I think they were thinking?
Of course, my brother.
I think they were thinking they could have drafted Khalil Ware or Yves Missi in the draft. And then and maybe got two bigs that you're gonna pay, two young athletic bigs that you could pay about $2 million to back up Mitch. And if Mitch gets hurt, all it does is speed up the timeline on those young rookie bigs that would have looked like Derek Lively or somebody like that in the playoffs. Something like that.
There's a name that hit him up CP that I thought as well, Wendell Carter. I liked Wendell Carter. I'm like, that's a young piece that you could have put. They just weren't, everything was focused on the wings and OG, and you had to, you had to make sure. I know, but they were pinned in a corner. You see what I'm saying? Like, you traded the overall number 3 pick Barry. You traded quickly to get this dude. Whatever savings he said he gave you, whatever, he's still the highest paid Knick in history.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of like Free said. I think it was really a money thing.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's totally a money thing. But they were up against it. Like, yo, this is where our funds are gonna go. We've stockpiled all this draft capital for a long time. We have a young dude who wants to be here. Okay, we've never done anything with the Nets, and not anything worth mentioning in 50 plus years.
Yeah.
That's where the focus was.
Yeah.
They had money, but Hartenstein just wasn't gonna take $17 million.
And especially when he's being offered 30.
Yeah. I mean, you can't hate the dude for that. Like, no. He wasn't expecting to get blown out the water. He got blown out the water.
AD, I think that man was always gone, to be honest with you.
And the Knicks knew it.
I think he was always gone. I think he wanted to not only get paid, but also wanted to be the uncontested starter somewhere. The two things he want to be an NBA starter and to get life-changing money, and teams were offering him that, and the Knicks couldn't guarantee he'll be the starter if he came back. Even if you took less money, right? We still want you to go to training camp with Mitch and beat out the historic starter at the position.
But here's the thing with that, Freezy. Okay. my thing is this, Hartenstein. You've been here 2 years. What has happened in both years that you've been here? Mitch has gotten hurt.
Yep.
So it's not like it would be far-fetched for you to think that Mitch is going to get hurt because that's what Mitch does. He gets hurt.
Right.
So your minutes was going to be there regardless. And another thing is, you can't just forge chemistry. You're going to a new team. They don't know you. You don't know them.
Right. AD, same thing happened with the Knicks though. He came here. He didn't know us, and we didn't know him.
Yes, but you can't necessarily say because one thing happened good over there means that the same thing is going to happen good over there. There's different ball players.
Yeah, I know, AD. That man has played for 6 NBA teams,
and he found a sweet spot with the Knicks.
He found a sweet spot with the Knicks, and who's to say he won't find a sweet spot in OKC?
Who's to say?
I don't know. Well, I don't know what the answer is because I understand what you're saying. I understand the foresight behind the question, right? I do. I understand it, right? I understand it. I don't even have to do research to understand where you're coming from, right? I think the thing is, he was never gonna stay because it's one thing being the opening night starter, and there's another thing being an injury replacement starter.
Facts.
Right. You know what I mean?
And he got $29 million. What is it? His contract is only 3 years.
Yeah, yeah.
I've seen a lot of guys take money over the years. The first thing I could think of, remember Alvin Harper with Dallas?
Yeah, go to the Redskins. Yep.
No, he went to Tampa.
To Tampa.
Tampa, right?
Yeah.
Tampa gave him that. Mind you, Alvin Harper from Grambling was a good wide receiver in a system that just took advantage of everything that he did well.
Yeah.
When he had to go to Tampa and be the man.
Yeah, big, tall, and fast. Yeah.
Big, tall, and fast. When he had to go to Tampa and be the man, a la Tim Hardaway Jr.
Yeah. With a bad quarterback situation.
It's horrible.
It's hard.
Long way from Dallas.
It's hard to turn down that money, man.
It's hard to turn down that dough. I don't see a lot of guys take that money, and I'm never gonna knock a dude for. I'm never gonna watch a dude's pockets. See what I'm saying? I'm always progressive in that nature. I want you to get paid.
Get money.
Get money. But
especially a dude like Hartenstein, who probably not gonna see that much money again.
Right.
Hell no. Who's gonna give him another bag like that after the contract is over?
Right.
Unless he suddenly does twice what he did with the Knicks.
Right.
That's a lot to ask.
Right. Yeah. Now I think you made an excellent point. I think the point you made was very thorough and a little bit of words. So I understand where you're coming from. Right. But the thing is with the Knicks is I always felt like all these speculative moves that Knicks fans project into Knicks universe, the Knicks never thought about any of those moves, I don't think. Like the Knicks never thought about trading Randle, right? Because the smart thing would be if you were contemplating trading Randle, why wouldn't you just trade him to Brooklyn in the Mikal Bridges trade and then keep all your draft picks?
Yep.
Right? That makes sense, right? Because Randall's contract more than matched. Randle made more than the money that was needed to get Mikal Bridges. You could have legit traded Mikal Bridges and a center, maybe Day'Ron Sharpe, to the Knicks for Julius Randle. Right? But the Knicks were not thinking about trading Randle. Randle is not on the trade block. It would be, what's the word Ron Cleveland used to use when somebody used to do something stupid? It would be, he used to say something. It would be something he used to say if somebody did something very, very stupid. Like, it's not buyer's remorse. It was something Ron Cleveland would say. When an organization would consider doing something stupid. I think it was I can't remember. Right.
Yeah, I can't even think of it.
But the thing about it is this. if the Knicks were thinking about trading Randle, they could have traded Julius Randle to Brooklyn for Mikal Bridges and a backup center, right? And the question we would have going forward is, what do we do for a traditional? Oh yeah, that's it. Front office malpractice. That's it. Luke said, "Hey, Luke Skywalker Visions. That's it. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you." You know what I'm saying? It would be the question we would be having right now is, what do we do for a traditional power forward? Because Knicks fans always find a thread and pick at it and pull it to everything fall apart. Right? Because and the thing I reminded AD about last year is when we traded Obi Toppin last year, you know what Knicks fans talked about all summer? What are we going to do for a backup power forward? All summer. That's what we talked. Why? Is that not what we talked about all summer last year?
Thanks. Yep.
So now that we don't have a clear center, you know what people are talking about all summer long this offseason? The backup center. It's because we find a thread and we pull at it until everything falls apart because we worry too much. The roster is set. We're a good team, right? We probably have the deepest roster in the NBA, 1 through 9, 1 through 10. Nobody is better. The team may have a better starting five, but they don't have a better bench, right? The fact that we have Precious Achiuwa as our backup big in an NBA that puts the emphasis on bigs and not centers. If you have a big man that can dominate, you don't need 5 of them, right? You don't need a Shaq and an Olajuwon and a David Robinson and a Patrick Ewing because you're only going to play one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Freezy, but you need, and I get you and I'm with you and all, but I'm not comfortable with the center situation right now. I'm just not. Mitch doesn't make me confident.
Right, because you're not confident in the starter. You're not. It's not being confident about the position. You are not confident about the starter because if our center's name was Embiid or if our center's name was Jokic, we wouldn't have a conversation about Precious.
If my starting center's name was Kessler, I'd be a lot happier today.
Wise, what do we say to that, bro?
I say that we worried about Ihart being gone, but the last 2 games he played, he had 4 points.
Yep. Total.
And that's what we worried about.
It's a need.
Yeah.
It is a need because Mitch gets hurt.
But it's not a center that's the need, it's the production.
However you frame it.
Exactly.
However you frame it. If he gets hurt, if you tell me Mitch gets hurt and what we have right now is going to get us in combination 15 and 12 or 15 and 10 every night, great. You can't tell me that.
Let me ask you this. Imagine if we would have gave Ihart 17.5.
Right.
And the first game, his Achilles blows out. Because you know he's been nursing Achilles the whole time he was here, right?
The whole time he was here, yeah.
Yeah, but he's been. Yeah, but guess what? He played.
So this year will be the 3rd year, and the likelihood of playing on a bad Achilles eventually is going to go out, right?
No, I can't play a doctor.
I'm just saying.
I can't tell you that. All I know is that man was here 2 years in a row.
But we're not talking about. We talking about next year though.
Yeah, and the likelihood that Mitch is gonna get hurt next year.
Okay, but it's also could be. It's a lot of things he could play. Mitch played 70 games for us before.
Yeah, and AD, the thing is, if we can't play doctor, then we also can't say Mitch is gonna get hurt.
Exactly.
I'm gonna go by his track record.
I know, but track record is what Wise said about Hartenstein.
But he wasn't hurt.
Yeah, he was hurt. He just played.
He was hurt.
Yeah, but he played.
He was hurt, but he played through
He's
it.
available.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you're not available, I can't count on you.
Mitch played. We watch Mitch play through injury all the time.
Yeah. I feel you. I feel you on that. What I'm saying to you though is I don't even think it ain't even a question about the center position. I think the Knicks feel like we're set.
Me too.
I feel that the Knicks feel like we are set. And will they because the thing is that the Walker Kessler trade, if the Knicks really wanted Walker Kessler, it'd have been done. Right? If the Knicks really wanted Walker Kessler, that trade would have been done already. Right. They may really want him, but maybe not want him at the price that's being asked. So that means they don't really want him.
Thanks.
Right. Yep. And so the thing is, and if you watch the offseason, the Knicks watched 25 centers signed to NBA teams, and they didn't sign one of them. They brought back Precious. Right. You saw him. You saw every day we did a show back in early July. We watched NBA centers. Y'all remember me singing the Mo Bamba song on this show? Calling. Y'all remember that? And he wound up signing with the Clippers. And he from here.
Yeah.
The Knicks are set. The Knicks are going to use that reserve money, that $5.5 million, as a injury replacement situation, right? Like if some player slips on a banana peel, right? Like say Cameron Payne slips on a banana peel, right? We want Cameron Payne to be here for the entire season, but say something happens to him, right? We're going to play Deuce as the backup, but we're probably going to try to find another guy to bring in. Because the last thing that I think the Knicks want to do is be in that situation where they were last year, where they had no money available to them, and look at the end of the bench, and you see Charlie Brown in that workers' comp cast staring you back in the eyes.
Yep.
Shake Milton, Charlie Brown, Daquan Jeffries, Jacob Toppin. You don't want those guys to be staring you back in the face. You remember Diakite?
Yeah.
He came in at the end of the season. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You want to have enough flexibility where you can bring in a guy if the need presents itself. But last year when people were going down by flies, they were looking at Charlie Brown. Charlie Brown ain't no starter. Charlie Brown ain't an NBA player, bro. Dwayne Washington Jr. is not an NBA player. Daquan Jeffries is not an NBA player, bro. And those dudes held up contracts where when we were going down like flies, you couldn't even play. Ryan Arcidiacono, he ain't no NBA player. And them dudes were on the roster. And I'm not saying that they didn't fit the roster at the beginning of the season, because they did. But as your needs change, as the situation changes, your needs change. It's just a part of it. It's the reason why they brought in Shake Milton at the end of the season they gave Shake Milton a look to see if he had anything left in the tank.
But they used him in the Miles Bridges trade too.
And they didn't use Charlie Brown Jr. in that trade.
Yep.
You feel me? You see where I'm going with it now?
Yep.
Shake Milton wasn't on the roster at the beginning of the season. Charlie Brown Jr. was.
Mm-hmm.
Dwayne Washington Jr. was. Those guys were in Knicks universe. And for that reason, I'm saying I think the Knicks they learned a valuable lesson from last year. They know not to repeat a mistake that they made. They're preparing themselves for this championship run because they know a championship window is not guaranteed to anyone.
Okay, we'll see. But fellas, I gotta run. It was great rocking with you guys as always, Nick Nation.
All right, AD, I'm about to be out too.
Because I gotta be on that phone at 7:45. Thank you. Thank y'all, everybody, for watching, man. Appreciate y'all coming through, hanging out with us. We're gonna get out of here. Thank y'all, man. Peace, everybody.
All right, y'all. Peace.